on you, you censorious thug.
Ezra Levant here. I just landed in London, came straight from the airport. It was an overnight flight, and I've come to Canary Wharf, which is a very interesting neighborhood in the UK. It used to be sort of derelict docklands, but about a generation ago, a Canadian real estate developer, the Reichman family, turned it into a gleaming set of skyscrapers. It really rivals Manhattan in terms of commerce and steel and glass and chrome. Totally moved the financial center of London here. And it's very different from the rest of London, which is about history and old architecture. Here, it's all about new. You could be forgiven for thinking you were in the United States. It's high end because everyone here is a banker or an investor or an insurer. And there are hotels, obviously, and high-rise condominiums. And there's also this hotel, the Britannia International, which I was just told by a local was really the first hotel of its sort in these parts, but it's been a little while since it was freshened up. Of course, COVID was difficult for all hotels, and very recently this hotel did a deal. Instead of investing millions of dollars in renovating and refurbishing, they cut a deal with the government to shut down as a hotel and to turn this building in the heart of this residential and commercial neighborhood, to turn this into an urban refugee camp for military-aged migrant men who come over from France in little boats. So the men who are going to be jammed in here by the hundred in a 4-star hotel, I looked up the pricing. It's more than £400 a night when it was operating as a hotel. That's quick math, 700 Canadian dollars a night. It is not cheap, but only the best for illegal migrants whose first act on British soil is to break the law, to come illegally, to shred their documents, and to say, I'm an asylum seeker. Of course, that's not true, and everyone knows it's not true because they're coming from France. And France is not a dangerous place. It's not a illiberal dictatorship. If you're coming from France, it means you're coming for 2 reasons. You know the UK is a soft touch and they won't deport you. And you know they're going to give you 4-star hotels. I mean, let me ask you a question. If your choices as a opportunity-seeking, swashbuckling young man from, I don't know, Afghanistan or Pakistan, if your choices were come to the British government's all-expense-paid 4-star hotel in amazing Canary Wharf, or go to Alligator Alcatraz, Donald Trump's new maximum security prison, or you know what he's doing with illegals in the United States, right? He's rounding them up, deporting them, sending them to that El Salvador Supermax prison, or they've just built this new Alligator Alcatraz, as they call it in Florida. Where would you go as a BSing migrant? I mean, if you were truly desperate, you would go anywhere you could. But like I say, these men are coming from France. They're coming in bad faith, and everyone knows it. But imagine being a resident here. I've only been here on the street for about 15 minutes, and I've seen so many young women jogging by. I've seen so many tourists. I've seen so many people who their daily lives would be immediately changed for the worse if you had hundreds of military-aged migrant men, especially from countries where they treat women atrociously, where the idea of respecting a woman's space is unknown, where if a woman goes out uncovered, it's proof that she must be a prostitute and thus you can do what you want with her. People are being brought to the UK by the thousand, approximately 1,000 a day in these boats. Now, the United Kingdom is surrounded by water. The English Channel, it's like a moat. And for centuries, the English Channel has served as a defense to this island. It's what stopped Hitler from invading. It's what stopped Napoleon from invading. The fact that the UK is an island is its greatest defense, and it also caused the Royal Navy for centuries to be the world's greatest navy. It's one of the reasons why Britannia ruled the world, but now Britannia is being ruled by any ragamuffin who can find his way here. The UK still has a formidable navy. After the United States, it's probably the most powerful navy in NATO. They could stop these boats in a second. Instead, they escort these boats in like concierges. I could only imagine someone growing up loving the stories of Admiral Nelson, loving Master and Commander, the series of books about the Royal Navy's exploits. If you haven't seen that movie with Russell Crowe, I highly recommend it. Imagine growing up loving the idea of the Navy. And then when you're faced with this, truly an invasion, a slow motion invasion, instead of defending your country, you act as the bellhop, the bag boy, the baggage handler for these migrants who are coming in bad faith. So many of them, of course, immediately go on the jihad watch list. The UK has more than 40,000 jihadists who are actively being monitored. It's a terrible situation, and things have finally snapped. The reason we're here at Canary Wharf, the migrants have not moved in yet. This has just been announced as sort of a spillover refugee camp for other neighborhoods that have had enough. And one of those neighborhoods is a couple hours away from here. It's called Epping. In Epping, they have a migrant hotel, not as luxurious, not as large. And one migrant who just came over, I think 8 days previously, has been charged with sexual assault against a young girl, literally days after getting off the boat. I mean, think about it. You come from a country where sex is repressed, where uncovered women are anathema, and you come here to the UK, a high trust society where women walk on the streets uncovered and they're completely safe, and you're like a fox in a hen house. And so this man allegedly sexually assaulted this girl days after arriving here. And so the local community of Epping, which is probably more close-knit than in a metropolis like Canary Wharf, they took to the streets in a noisy but peaceful protest against the migrant center. Incredibly, police in Epping were filmed sneaking in professional protesters pro-migrants. Let me say that again. All the local community, especially mums, came out to defend their girls, to defend the safety of young people in Epping. And the police actually used their police vans to sneak in counter-protesters. It's as if they wanted to create an incident, like a Reichstag fire, to create a violent conflagration so they could say, look at this, far-right terrorists have caused violence, we need a national crackdown. What's interesting is I've arrived here in the UK just 48 hours after their Online Safety Act or Online Harms Act, I forget what it's called, their new censorship bill has taken effect. And one of the ways this new censorship bill was sold to the country was it would stop child pornography. Well, who could be against that? But wouldn't you know it, the first application of this new online censorship bill has been to censor videos of these protests against migrant refugee camps. Who could have guessed it? The UK is a country, I can remind you, that has 30 arrests per day for people saying things on social media, much of it contrary to open borders, mass immigration. The UK really cannot be called a completely free country. It's a partly free country. I haven't been arrested yet, knock on wood, but it's a combination of issues. Because mass migration has led to so much, incredibly, the UK is now the #1 rape capital of Europe on a per capita basis. It was not this way. This is the original high trust society. So instead of dealing with the primary problem, the government's trying to deal with the secondary problems, denounce the protesters, censor the news. They simply cannot find themselves a way to deal with the primary problem, which is mass immigration of people who are not a fit for the UK, and in some cases come here as avowed enemies. I want to tell you one last story. A couple of weeks ago, a shocking story was broken in a number of newspapers. In the UK, they have something, a legal trick that we don't know in America or Canada. It's called a super injunction. What is that? Well, you know what an injunction is. It's a court order. And in North America, there are occasionally court orders for publication bans. In my country of Canada, that's often when a minor is involved to keep the child's identity secret. And we all know that order is in place and we understand it, and it's limited to that purpose. But in the UK, they have a super injunction, which is they have a publication ban on something, and they have a ban on talking about the ban. So there's a secret ban in place. You're not even allowed to talk around or about the ban. You're not even allowed to acknowledge that it exists. And what had happened 2 years ago, the conservative government, as it then was, sought a super injunction to keep secret their plan to bring up to 200,000 Afghans into the UK in secret flights and to stick them in the community. And they had some ruse, some excuse. Oh, well, we had a data breach and these were translators in Afghanistan and we have to protect them from the Taliban. Really? You had 200,000 interpreters in Afghanistan? Pull my other leg. When there was an election last year, the Labour Party took over as government. They kept the super injunction in place. So what you see here is the uniparty, the Conservatives and the Labour, both supporting the super injunction that kept secret from the British people and even secret from MPs, from Parliament itself, that there was a plan to bring in hundreds of thousands of Afghans. I'm told that there were only 1,000 translators, and I'm not sure why that gets them a ticket to the UK, but to bring in 200,000 claiming they're friends and relatives is just completely shocking. What has changed in the UK in the past week, by my observation, is for the first time, people no longer care about being called far right or whatever they're being labeled. There have just been too many rapes, too many sexual assaults. Despite this online censorship, the word is getting out. And when severely normal mums and dads are protesting, it's not just activists protesting. I think we've reached a tipping point. There's no one here today. There was a boisterous protest earlier. Of course, this is the fastest I could get to the UK. I'm in the UK for a couple of days. I'm now going to head up to Norwich, which I understand is going to have a similar protest. And I will go to Epping tomorrow, which is where this whole thing kicked off. The reason they were protesting here is that they heard the migrants were going to be relocated from Epping to the heart of Canary Wharf. Last point, when I was just talking to some of the locals to get the lay of the land, one woman who works in a neighboring hotel, she had her name tag on, she said that an entire building, because there's a lot of residential towers here, an entire building's tenants were going to have a protest. And I thought, okay, this is London, it's a progressive city. I said, protest on which side? I mean, I didn't know, I didn't want to assume. She said, of course, against the refugee camp. If you're paying premium rents, or if you bought a luxury condominium in this new revitalized community of Canary Wharf, if you're a young woman working on their version of Wall Street, if you're someone who, you know, there's so many people who are out and about here, and imagine what this street will be like when you've got hundreds of indolent men in there, don't speak the language, don't have anything to do. I'll say it, sexually frustrated, because of course they are. You're from Afghanistan or wherever, and you come to this, you know, high trust society. That apartment building, said that lady, is going to have a protest. I'm sorry I won't be here to see it, but maybe I'll come back. That's my report from Canary Wharf. It's a gorgeous neighborhood that's about to be turned into a refugee camp because this government cannot do the simple task of keeping this daily invasion at bay. It's incredible to me, but the glimmer of hope, the silver lining here to me, is that after years of being silenced and demonized, ordinary Brits are speaking up. My friend Tommy Robinson has been talking about this for years, and he has been called every name and prosecuted and put in prison. But you can do that to a handful of activists. You can do that to political people. But when hundreds and even thousands of mums and dads start marching, yeah, either you become a police state and build a lot more prisons, or something has to change. That's the news from the UK. To see all my reports on this subject, go to migrantreports.co.uk. And if you think this is useful content that you can't find on, let's say, the BBC or CBC state broadcaster, do me a favor and chip in a few quid. I came over from Canada on my own time, economy class airfare. I actually don't even have a hotel room. I'm not sure where I'm going to be tonight. If you can chip in, please do. You can do that at migrantreports.co.uk. I'll do my best to tell you what's going on here as I learn and teach at the same time. Thanks. Hi, it's Ezra Levant here. I took off my suit jacket because we're in the rain and I don't want to get soaked. I am wearing an umbrella, having an umbrella. I'm in Norwich, and if you look up there, you can see there's still dozens of people, but the rain was coming down very hard, so I think most of the crowd is dispersed. On the way in, I saw dozens of police, a large number of police vans at a nearby staging area, which I presume would be the heavy hitters, the SWAT team types. And this is all because there's a local migrant hotel, like there are in so many different parts of the UK, at which military-age migrant men from countries where sexual assault is the norm. And to bring in these men unvetted, most of whose first act in this country is to break the law, to sneak in illegally and destroy their records. That's bad enough, but then to have, and in this neighborhood particularly, the men who typically don't work, they lounge around playgrounds and they take photographs of young girls and young children. And obviously the locals find that deeply creepy. And I think that things have reached a boiling point. Now that's the background I know. I don't know a lot about Norwich. I seek to find out more. So I'm going to wander around. I'm borrowing Ed, my cameraman's umbrella, thank goodness, because I'd be soaked otherwise. He's got a rain jacket. Don't worry about him, though. And I want to talk to people and find out what's going on. Why? Because these are severely normal people. What I mean by that is this is not an organized, curated event. I come to the UK from time to time for big rallies that Tommy Robinson has in London. And those are planned months in advance with speakers flown in and PA systems. This is not that. This is ordinary people saying, you know what, I've had it with foreign migrants treating women like possessions, and I'm sick of the government lying about it. That's what I think is going on here. Let's go and talk to people and find out. Tell me about today's protest. Who is here and why are they here? What's going on in Norwich that's wrong?
So we're at Bothorpe, the Brook Hotel in Bothorpe in Norwich. The issue with the Brook Hotel, so it's housing migrants, it has been for a couple of years now, and the community of Bothorpe and Cossey are terrified. With the Breckland Park, which is about a 10-minute walk from here roughly, the children are being sexually harassed, followed. There's 2 sex offenders who have already come out of that hotel. Dan Tesfuller was jailed for 8 years for raping a girl when she left a nightclub, and Rashid Al-Wali was jailed for 20 months for grooming a 14-year-old online, sending photos of his genitalia.
So 20 months in prison. Have you heard of the case of Lucy Connolly, the wife of a Conservative city councillor who was sent to prison for 31 months for a tweet? So 31 months for a tweet versus 20 months for sexually grooming a minor.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny because I wasn't supposed to be one of the organisers of today's protest. That was supposed to be my boyfriend, James Harvey. Well, at 8 o'clock this morning, we had a knock on the door at our house because he stays at my house, obviously. And they arrested him on the spot 8 o'clock in the morning.
So they were trying to head off. They were trying to head off today's event. I don't think they did, but tell me what happened when they came for James.
So they had the gloves on already, and they're like, oh, okay, we're looking for James. He wasn't even up yet by this point. He wasn't properly dressed. He hadn't had a shower or anything. We'd just gone to sleep basically because we were planning the protest. And so I got him up, I got him ready really fast because they were going to steam through our back door if we didn't hurry up, basically. They were like, oh, you've only got 1 minute left. He came, they arrested him on the spot for racial aggravation, and that was because he said, allegedly, foreign filth. And this was 5 days ago now, which would have been Monday, at the DIS protest. The Park Hotel has been housing families of migrants since September 2023, which me and James did expose. But the Home Office is trying to force all males into that hotel, and the locals aren't happy. So we had a protest similar to this. I didn't organise it, neither did James. We know the organiser, he's a DIS local himself. They had a protest, and allegedly James said foreign filth at the protest.
I mean, that's not a very friendly thing to say, but I don't know if word crimes are the real issue here. I think I keep saying the primary problem is bringing in millions of people unvetted, who are not a cultural fit, not an economic fit, aren't a fit with sex norms in this country. And what happens when you do that is people mouth off, people push back in the ways they know how. And just silencing critics, even if they do use rude language, it's not solving the problem. In fact, it's sort of, if someone is speaking out with anger or pain, it's probably because they have some underlying sense of grievance. And telling them to shut up or arresting them for their words, it's probably not going to make their grievance go away. If anything, it'll probably make it magnified.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if James did say that, which I can't remember him saying it.
It's not the end of the world. It's not, I mean, it's not nice.
I was gonna say that, like, I'm pretty sure he'd be referring to the paedophiles that are, like, the
Sounds like it. Yeah.
rather than just all migrants.
Well, that's the thing about word crimes is what did they mean and what could they mean?
Context that it was meant in, and usually it's twisted.
Yeah, and I'm not here to promote those words, but to arrest a political organizer the morning of a rally using that as a pretext shows that they really want to stop people from talking about this. Why are you here today?
Well, just protesting. The local community have had enough. We're seeing what's going on all over the country. Every local community, we don't get a say, we don't get a talk in it, so we're just here to stand up.
What are you worried about?
Well, foreign rapists coming here and attacking our children, really. I mean, we've had quite a lot of it over the past year or two, and we've had enough now. We keep trying to complain to the authorities. They're ignoring us, so it's time to take it into our own hands now.
I was watching. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so we're just going to say, I'm just going to show them that we're annoyed. We've had enough of it. We want to stand up now. Tell them we've had enough.
I was watching some videos back in Canada, and it looked like a lot of mothers are involved. In the past, protests of this sort seemed to be more men, but now mums are coming forward. What do you make of that?
Yeah, the whole community's coming out now. Everyone's sick of it. I mean, the children, they both sides of the parents. I mean, you're not just going to see the fathers out here now. It's going to be the whole community. I'm quite surprised the police aren't with us as well. Very surprised, but...
Why are you here?
To support us English people. We don't want this rubbish in our country. Doing what they're doing.
And what are they doing?
Raping our children and everything else. That's all I got to say. We don't want them here.
Are any politicians listening?
None of them.
Why?
I don't know why. Supporting these lot rather than, our own country.
So why are you here?
Well, to protect our country, basically, because I just find it utterly ridiculous how us people have to work for them and to pay for stuff that they're getting for free, such as phones, laptops. They get money each week, and we're having to work for their benefit.
And why do you think this system is set up that way?
Government, to be honest, it's the government dead against it all.
Do you know what might be causing that? Like, if there were indeed 1,500 people at the protest today, you think the government would want to appeal to that?
You'd think so, but they're all on their side. Keir Starmer as well. Keir Starmer. They just don't care. They really don't care.
I heard the police escorted some Antifa types to this event, but they were dispatched quickly.
Yep, the same as in Essex a week ago. Yep, brought them here, took them out again, just to antagonise everyone. But.
Are you worried about, and I'm just going to put it out here, are you worried about the possibility that you might be arrested for antisocial behavior or a tweet or something like that?
Yeah, tweets, definitely tweets. But I think when we're all out together on the street like this, just waving flags and shouting, I don't think they're going to say too much or do too much. I think that's when it turns violent.
Why are you here today?
This is my first protest. I'm here with my friend. This is his first protest as well. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I am so scared. Norwich is honestly so London got everything before us, and I've been to London. I've seen the multiculturalism that is not working whatsoever. Look at all the stabbings. Look at, it is crazy. and we've now got Norwich. We've now got this hotel over here. We've got another one up in Cromer. It is becoming so backwards. It is unreal. I used to be on the left when I was a teenager, and I used to think, oh, Jeremy Corbyn's amazing. Not now. I don't even support Farage at the minute because of what he's doing. He is not on our side at the minute. He didn't even go to the rape gangs inquiry. You know what I mean? He's cussing out our boy, Tommy Robinson, who is a hero. I used to think he was... Yeah. I'm not going to say the word. But back in the day, I used to think he was that. And now he needs to be knighted. The man needs to be knighted. He has raised awareness on what is going on. And I could literally cry at the fact that our country is gone. Our country's gone, and I'm scared for life. I honestly cannot tell you how much I am scared for this country.
Now, how many people were here before the rain came in? We were driving, and it was very heavy rain, and we were worried that we were going to miss it. There's still dozens of people here, and I saw tons of cops nearby. How many people here were here at the height when the weather was better?
I'd say probably around 500 people around here today. 500 people today. 1,500, the police have said.
The police said 1,500?
That's wonderful if that is true, because, you know, I've always thought of Norwich as a little sleepy town, especially during COVID times. It's a big left-wing presence. It's like the third wokest or LGBT high place in the UK or something. So you don't expect people to turn out in that sort of numbers to Norwich. But it really shows, because all of these people were local. Apart from a couple dozen, they're local people. They're from Beaufort, Cossey, Norwich.
Now, I heard that there was some Antifa types, and there was a little bit of hands being thrown. What happened?
I didn't see all of it because I was on the stage, but what I understand is that the police led Antifa through us.
I saw they did that in Epping. They sort of sneaked in the Antifa. They wanted a fight. My theory is the police want to fight so they can say, look at this far-right hooligans. I think the cops want violence so they can then... that's the script they want anti-migration people to follow. They want violence, they want racism, and if they have to plant it, so be it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if we're all aggressive and if we're all horrible to everyone, or if that's what the papers show, then they can paint us however they want. We can be that image of, oh, they're horrible and violent far right. But that's not the case at all. We just want our children to be safe and our women to walk the streets whenever they want.
And how have the police been here? They look pretty hands-off. There's a ton of them, but I take it they've just sort of stood by?
Yeah, apart from walking or letting Antifa move around us, they have been all right. They haven't tried to attack us. They haven't tried to stop us. The only thing I would have an issue with is the fact that they didn't close the road off, which they said if it's over a couple hundred, then we will. But there's a cancer treatment thing just down the road, so you can't fault them too much for that. They've got to do the job that they're told to do.
Well, I wish I was here to see the Antifa interaction, because Antifa are brave when they have a mask on hiding their identity, and they're brave when they're in large numbers picking on small numbers of people. I'm looking around, and there's some pretty strong-looking guys. I think that a small number of Antifa would have been shown the door pretty quick. That's just my guess.
I don't know when they left, but it must have been really soon, because I don't know, if I was outnumbered that much with Antifa, which, give it all the large all the time, they were all masked up kids, I would have gone pretty quick too. I would have left with my tail between my legs, and I would have been so embarrassed.
Well, listen, thanks for giving me all that background, and keep us posted on what happens to James. And I say again, we all want to put our best foot forward, and we all say some things sometimes that are a little rough, but I don't know. I think the UK has too many hurt feelings crimes and too many hurt feelings prosecutions. And I think a lot of the bad words are coming from the shocking reality that the government won't fix. So I don't know. That's just my view as an outsider.
Yeah, I agree. I think instead of labelling people far right, you need to start addressing the problem. This is to the Home Office, to Keir Starmer, to the police as well, who have told, there's children being photographed at Breckland Park, and the police have turned around and said there's nothing we can do because it's not illegal. So they're not protecting our children. We've had to patrol our own areas because the police are incompetent to do it themselves. So, yeah, I think people need, instead of labelling people, you need to listen to the issues.
We've been gathering out since last night with the veterans in tents, sleeping out for 3 days.
Oh, so those are the tents over there? Or?
They are our veterans who not homeless. What they do, they go around places, and what they do, they support the 45,000 on the streets.
Tell me the difference between how homeless veterans are treated versus migrants who hop on a dinghy and come over and are put in 4-star hotels in Canary Wharf. Tell me what it's like from the veterans' point of view.
It's disgusting. With the veterans, we belong in Vets in Need. It's a charity.
Are you involved with them?
In Vets in Need, it's a charity where we don't get paid. We do everything voluntary. We badges, cups. If someone is a veteran on the streets, we got them a Bergen. If you like, I'll show you. You can speak to a veteran. We've got Bergens to give them, and they've got flannels, cleanliness, soap, and we give them to them for free. For me, the Norwich community have come out, and last night, from 5:30, they don't need nothing to eat. They've got food in there to last them a month. They've had pizza delivered. They had kebabs delivered last night. They've had beer. They've had vodka. They've got lager. They've got biscuits. They've got lamb. They've got pork chops. Everything what they want. And it's called the mess hut. We put a mess hut for them. Yeah. So, what happened about Antifa? We knew the Antifa were coming, but today's Gay Pride in Norwich. And that is why we picked today, because we didn't want the left to come here. We're here for one reason, for our children. But the left have got another alternative. They think we're racist, we're far right. I'm not far right, I'm central right. Right? As you say again, what the police wouldn't have done, we had it all cornered off. The police moved them over to the other side, but they let them come in. So I said to the police, you're making this bad, because we were not going to get involved. While the speaker was on stage with us lot, we have got evidence of the police marching Antifa in.
They did that in Epping, didn't they?
They've done the same today.
Why would they do that?
Haven't got a clue. They wanted to see BBC News, ITV.
Were they here? Were mainstream?
Mainstream media were here.
And did they interview anybody, or did they sort of shoot you from afar?
We have told them, if you listen to me in this, if anybody talks to the BBC, right, don't speak to them. Don't speak to ITV. Don't speak to Sky News. Don't even speak to GB News.
I think GB News have been doing a pretty good job, in fairness. Would you agree that even if you...
They're the best of the bunch.
I think, I mean, some of their guys.
Yes.
They sent them over to Calais, and I think he's doing a hell of a job.
As I'm a Tommy Robbins supporter.
Well, me too.
You are, Ezra. You know, we've been on a lot of dates. With GB News, weren't allowed to say his name.
All right, well, we don't have to talk about them.
No. So, what Antifa went and done then, they've come in, we had it all lined up, everyone was on pavements, both sides. Yep. And what did our patriots do? They had to do it to stop them coming in, because we've got young kids here today. Yeah. We didn't want to see it. Yeah. We didn't want to see it. And they brought him in, we've gone up to the road, and the police couldn't handle it. Yeah. So the police then got him over the other side. Yeah. But with the police, with the liaison officers, they've been brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Not one arrest. Yeah. No riot police.
Oh, good.
No riot police, nothing. We've been working with the police now for this campaign in 3 weeks. All I'm going to say is please now, on the 8th of August, we are doing a national protest around the country.
Okay. And where are you going to be on that day?
I'll be here. I'll be doing my own one. I've been to Epping. I've done Manchester. I've gone round, so now...
Well, let's go talk to some of these veterans.
Yeah.
Okay, you can take us over? Thanks. Let's walk carefully. Lots of police vans, some honking cars. I think that most of this rally and most of the cops attending the rally have dispersed down there. I see cops clearly going home. We're catching the tail end of it, but we were told that there were 1,500 at the height, and apparently that number did come from police. That's enormous. Norwich itself has low six figures population, depends on how you calculate it. About 150 or 200,000. Now, 1,500 people here is quite a large number. Look at that. Dan Tesfalul, jailed for 8 years and 2 months for rape in Norwich from the Brook Hotel. So it's not just a prejudice or a hunch. That's a convicted criminal from the Brook Hotel. Imagine dozens or hundreds of men at a migrant hotel, and they're lurking, they're stalking kids, and then the horrific thing happens, an actual rape in Norwich. You can imagine why families have come out to protest it. Let's keep walking and talk to some folks. What's your name?
It's Ian. Ian.
And are you from these parts, or did you come in?
I've come in from Leeds, up in Yorkshire. I've got the train down. We've been here 2 days. We've been sleeping out, and we've got another night tonight, which is, as you can see, is going to be a wet one.
I was going to say it's a little wet, and I hear though that the fellas are bringing you lots of food to snack on.
Well, would you like to have a look at the back of the tent?
Oh, sure, just for fun, yeah. I hear there's a lot of supporters. Wow, look at that. A lot of stuff in there.
And there's more coming today as well.
Well, that's got you set for bed.
But it might be that we have to sleep in there tonight, so we'll have to make room so we can sleep in there tonight.
So what's the meaning of having UK vets at this event? Is there a special meaning?
There is a special meaning because these people here, right, the government are paying for these people, these illegal immigrants, right, and our veterans are out in the streets with nothing. And I believe personally that our veterans, British people, should come first. The British public should come first before illegal immigrants, because they're not migrants, they're not fleeing from countries, from dangerous countries. They're coming through 9 safe countries to get to here. The reason why they come over here, because we are easy. They get everything. They come off the boats. I mean, just for example, like this hotel.
So that's the migrant hotel itself.
That's the migrant hotel.
That's where. How many men are in there?
There's 170 in there at the
And
minute.
are they all men, or is there men and women?
All men.
All 170 men, and they're youngish men, like in their.
They're fighting age men. They are fighting age men.
And what's their nationality? What do you know about where they came from?
Well, we have actually spoken to a few. There's Afghanis there. There's Pakistanis there. There's Albanians there. There's all kinds in there. Most won't speak to us, so.
So where are they right now? Are they sort of, because of the protests here, they're tucked away, hidden inside?
Yes, what the security have done, as you can see, they've sheeted out all the windows and all that. They're not allowed to leave. They didn't leave last night because there's a lot of workers here that work illegally for Deliveroo, and that's an extra £700, somewhere around up to £700 per night. Right, as I was saying about the hotel, the guy's got 5 hotels, he's got 5-year contracts, £2 million per hotel, and that's the start. And they get free iPhones, they get a choice of iPhone or a choice of Samsung. They have everything's on it, all internet, free internet, calls abroad, everything is free on it. They get paid £70 per week.
I heard something quite disturbing, and I'd like you to tell me if you have any information about it. I hear that some of these men, when they're out of their hotel, they're lurking in playgrounds or other places with young people, taking photographs of young girls. Do you have any information about that?
Yes, I have. Right. If you walk up this road here, you see the bus stop, and next to that bus stop is an alleyway. Further up the road, there are 2 schools. One's a primary school, and one is what we call a high school. We call a high school over there as well. And the children are coming down, and they're coming to this alleyway, and that's where these guys here, these legal immigrants, are taking photographs, asking for phone numbers, asking for the Snapchats and everything there. There's already been 3 incidents in this hotel. 2 have been arrested and are now serving time. One was for a full-on rape of a young girl. He's serving 8 years. One was for a gentleman who exposed himself to a little boy in a toilet, 14-year-old boy in a toilet. The third one was arrested for attempted rape also. He was actually let out on bail, taken from this hotel to a hotel in Ipswich.
Can I ask you what the local council, local politicians have to say about it? Are they on the side of the migrant hotel, or are they skeptics? Are they worried about it?
They're not worried about it. They're not worried. If they were worried about it, these people would not be in this hotel. Simple as that. If the council were worried about it, these guys would not be in this hotel.
You know, the countries that you mentioned, I think you said Afghanistan, Iraq, Albania. Would you?
Yeah.
In at least several of those countries.
Well, there's a Syrian. I know there's definitely one Syrian there, but they're all nationalities.
These are places where women, if they're not covered head to toe, and
this is correct.
They're treated like meat.
They don't treat women like we in the West treat our women.
And I got to imagine that's changed how people here live. That the girls are afraid to go out at night, maybe, or by themselves.
They are. They are. I mean, when Glenn first started this protest here, there's a football field not far from here, and there was a 13-year-old and two 14-year-old girls proposed by these illegal immigrants, asking them for the phone numbers.
And what did the girls do? Did they go to their parents? Did they go to the police? What they went?
Parents go to the police. They'll get a crime number, and that's all that'll happen. Nothing else will happen. This is the thing. Nothing is happening. Nothing is getting done.
The terrifying thing I'm worried about, in addition to what you said, is sometimes these girls are tricked into being groomed. They're exploited or extorted, and they're separated from their family, and they're forced to do.
That's the grooming gangs. That is the grooming gangs.
We might not even know about that because they might be in some blackmail position.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Robinson exposed these grooming gangs, and the government done nothing. Now the government said there's going to be an inquiry. Now let me tell you what's going to happen to that inquiry. Keir Starmer said no civil servant, no police officer will be arrested or investigated. This investigation is an investigation, and it's going to be an investigation. That's all it's going to be. There's going to be no end product to it.
So you were here. Were you live streaming, or were you just doing a general report?
Just general report on the grounds. I was in Epping the other day. I didn't go to the one in Britannia, but I've come down to Norwich because it seems like it doesn't matter what part of England you're from. It's just widespread, these migrant hotel protests.
Now, let me ask you, you're an independent journalist. Is that how you describe yourself, a citizen journalist?
Yeah, that's what the label is. But yeah, I just speak to the local people. I try not to, speak to the politicians so much. But yeah, just local people who are concerned in their areas.
Well, I think calling yourself an independent journalist or a citizen journalist is a badge of honor. It shows that you are not part of some corporate blob or some government blob. So I think you should wear that appellation with pride.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if people want to call it that, that's fine. But I think people are respecting what we do a lot more now. I think people are just seeing people on the ground, whether they're live streaming or post on YouTube, TikTok, and just seeing that, it's not going to be manipulated anyway or have some particular agenda. So, yeah, it's really important, I believe.
How would you describe the coverage by the mainstream media of this migrant hotel issue? BBC, Channel 4, ITV, Sky. Do they have an ideology? Do they have like a us versus them? Like, do you think they're open-minded? Do you think they have a bias? What's going on? How would you describe it?
No, they definitely have their own way of putting things, but I don't think they have their own bias. They can only cover what they can cover. So if you saw down in Epping, I think it was a Telegraph reporter tried to speak to one of the locals, they're telling them to go away. So they don't want to speak to the mainstream media. But the mainstream media can only go off what they can see. They might see a certain flag, a certain politician there, and then it's suddenly branded as, oh, it's a far-right politician, has kind of hijacked the cause. But if you just go on the ground, 99% women, children, fathers, and are local from the area.
Now, that's an interesting anecdote you told about the Telegraph being shooed away. They're not actually terrible as newspapers go, but I guess people have lost so much trust in the regime that they don't even want to risk talking to establishment media. I bet that reporter probably would have, used whatever someone told them, probably fairly. That's a fairly reputable paper, but I guess people just hate the media so much they don't trust them.
Yeah, I think in general, the mainstream media are just so restricted in terms of there's a lot of red tape. They might have someone above them who tells them what they can and can't do.
The BBC, though, the BBC is at war with any protester. Would you admit that?
I don't know I don't read too much in the headlines on what the BBC do.
Well, good for you. I wonder how many people under 30 actually get their news from the BBC.
But that's the thing, it could be just an age thing where people who are maybe a bit younger, but they just want to see what's happening on the ground more in depth, not just 30-second clips. They want a good 5-10 minutes. They want to be in there in the action. They don't want surface level stuff anymore. They want to know who's committing the crime, nationalities who are living there, and that just doesn't get reported anymore unless there's people like us on the grounds. Yeah.
What's the best way for people to follow your stuff?
Yeah, so just on YouTube, Wesley Winter. I'll be at most of these protests moving forward, and I think you'll see other citizen journalists who will be here as well. So yeah, just search anything regarding hotels and migration that is going on, and you'll see a long list of people.
Well, that's great. Thanks for talking to me. I got here a little later than I wanted to, but I feel like you're really helping fill in the blanks for me.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. And also, rain or shine, even if you're here quite late, you can still see there are people here that do care and will stay out. They won't just go away as the counter-protesters did when they're told to. They want to stay here as long as they can. So yeah, all the best to these guys.
We're here tonight as well. And last night, the Deliveroo guys who work illegally and don't pay taxes either, nobody left that hotel last night because of us. Nobody left. because I was awake all night.
You know, it seems to me that part of the social contract between individuals and the government is you give the government the monopoly of violence. And you say to the police and to the strong hand of authority, you protect us, and we won't do any vigilantism. We'll be happy.
This is why it's happening. This is why I wouldn't call it vigilantism, but what I call it is the police are doing nothing, and the British public are now coming to light. People are starting to believe what Tommy believes in now.
Well, that's the
most important thing, right? People are rising now, and vigilantism sadly will happen. Because the police are taught, the police are on the ground, are okay. They are told from above what to do.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't believe in vigilantism. I don't want chaos and anarchy.
We don't, not at all.
But what happens when the people who you give the authority to use force? What happens when the police, instead of policing the threat, police those who criticize it? And there's a lot of strong men here, and there's a lot of sort of mama bears worried about their children. There's nothing more valuable than a child.
Nothing at all. And I mean, I'm an old man. I'm 58. I'm a 58-year-old veteran now. We are protesting today, and this demonstration has been for the future of our children and of that lady's children, of that young lady there, for her children when she eventually has children. This is what we're doing it for.
How's this going to end?
How is this going to end? All illegal immigrants out of this country. Simple as undocumented and illegal immigrants out of this country.
In the United States, they're doing it.
Yep.
So it's possible.
We haven't got a Donald Trump. We've got a very weak leader.
What do you think of Nigel Farage?
Nigel Farage is okay for now, but we need a stronger leader than him. We need somebody who's got strength. When what we need is more right parties, not far right, none of this Nazism, what people call it. The right. We need more of them in, so we can get the Conservatives, because they're just as bad as the Labour Party, to get them out and get the right in. They were going to lead Britain back to what it was.